All right, so I'm going to keep the question very, very simple for our guy Ryan Town, CCA Texas Star Tournament, vice president, vice. What is it? I always get it wrong.
Assistant director.
Assistant director. I guarantee you, by the end of this tournament, come Labor Day, I'll have it right without having to look it up. But yeah, you saw what what I texted you. Doesn't anyone want to win the Star Tournament prize? Now, I know that's an exaggeration. There have been prizes out there, but give us an update. I mean, it's bizarre. I mean, it's bizarre because by this time we usually have prizes, and I'm talking specifically inshore. I know the offshore division. I've seen some big fish out there. I saw a big kingfish. I saw a big, I think, Dorado. But for our inshore purposes, what's going on? Give us an update of what's happening.
John, thanks for having me on. We are on the second leg of the tournament, halfway over, and we are still puzzled why we've only had 2 certified tagged redfish caught, 1 red and 1 blue. We have a lot of prizes left to give away, and they must go. So we know if you're a current member of CCA and registered in the tournament, and you legally catch the fish on a rod, hook, and line, you win big. We have 11 boats out there.
And they're all stuck in your garage. Come on, we need to clean out Ryan's garage, man. He's got 11 boats in there. Got some trucks in there too, don't you?
We do. There's 4 Ford F-150 XLT Super Cruise out there left, connected to a 23-foot Haney Amigo with the 150 Mercury motor and coastline trailer package.
Yeah.
They need to go. We need to get them gone.
And we say it every year. And just to repeat here, in case we have some new listeners, you truly already have the prizes. This isn't like some deal you make. If they win this, they'll get this from another company. No, you have already purchased all the cars, all the trucks, all the boats, all the prizes. They're not in your garage, but they're somewhere. And so you truly need to give them all away. Correct?
That's correct. Everything's been bought and paid for, and per board policy, they must go. We got to get rid of them.
All right, so I know someone out there is asking, we're going to get these things caught. The breadth of this podcast goes all over the country, man, and certainly all over Texas. We're going to get these things caught. I'm going to do my part. That's for darn sure. But I know someone out there is asking, okay, what if they don't? What if they don't all get caught? What happens to them?
So if they don't all get caught, we will most likely donate them to local CCA Texas chapters so that
we don't want to do that.
Help fundraise our core mission, which is CCA Texas, because S.T.A.R is our annual recruitment drive to bring new members into the organization that we all love. But yes, I would much rather give it away to one of your listeners out there.
And the most important thing is you can still register. Like you said, we're barely halfway through. So startournament.org. People can right now today, as they're watching or listening, just register, go out tomorrow or today after they register and catch a tagged redfish. Boom, they win.
That's exactly right. September 2nd is the tournament deadline at 6 p.m. It spans the entire Texas coast from Louisiana to Mexico. I mean, the tagged redfish are all along the Texas coastline. One every 4.7 miles. Yeah. 126 were released this year.
126 that are out there. Now, do you have any theories? Do you have any theories on why it has not been happening as much as most years?
Well, I can tell you in the beginning, we were hit with some torrential rainfall where some of those, like Trinity Bay, that was completely freshwater all the way down to probably the dike with that dam up there releasing 130,000 cubic feet per second. That didn't help. And then Hurricane Beryl, of course. I think we're inundated with a lot of adverse weather. But despite from last year, I mean, we had a heat dome on us for 70 days out of the 101-day tournament. And last year at this time, we had 23 tags caught. This year, we've only had 9.
Yeah. Now, certainly, it's also worth mentioning that if you do catch one, you're going to have to go through a process that includes, lie detector, whatever you want to call it. But what can you tell our listeners, our viewers about getting out there and catching them, man?
Exactly right. So Every tagged redfish that you catch, so you got to catch it, clip the tag, and release the fish. And then you go to one of the local weigh stations. There's 17 up and down the coast. So there's one in your area where you're fishing, and that tag must be turned in within 24 hours. So every single grand prize winner at the end of the tournament does get polygraphed.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Now, other prizes that have been out there. It's not like you're not having a good year, because some of the offshore prizes we talked about. What has been out there? What is gettable, and what is, oh boy, that looks like it's going to stand up.
Oh, that kingfish was a 55 pounder, which was pretty stout.
Mm-hmm.
That Dorado, if I recall correctly, is 34 pounds, but uh, there's still always room to improve. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
could even in the inshore division, you go catch a fish, you weigh it in, and then you go back out next week, and if you catch a bigger fish, you can
Mm-hmm.
upgrade your fish in the tournament on the leaderboard.
And scholarships. So before we get you out of here, we have to mention that it's one of the biggest initiatives that you guys have. What's still out there? Do we have some big fish that are going to be tough to catch in that
Ooh,
division?
there's some big ones out there, and I will say that's one of our favorite divisions by far, with over 325,000 in scholarships awarded every year. Since '95, we've had over 8 million awarded. I would say that in the gaff top and sheep's head division on the youth, which is 6 to 10 years old, there's a young man who has a 7 pound, oh man, what is it? 4 ounce gaff top, which is
Ooh,
pretty big.
ooh, that thing got to be the size of his body.
Oh man. And
That's
you
a
and
big
you
one.
you can bet these kids are so elated when they get this fish. And then, of course, in November we all have them to our office in Houston, and then we do an award ceremony, giving them away. And it's really meaningful seeing the kids and their whole families come in, because it is honestly, it could change the life path of these kids. It's not just for college. You can do technical accredited schools, or vocational training programs. So it's wide variety out there, and we just love it.
All right, last thing. Get out there, register, get out there, catch tag redfish, because there is much to be had. Now, we're not in the business of giving hints, but the biggest hint that I'm guessing you can give someone is literally everywhere up and down the Texas coast, whether you are on a boat, a kayak, wading, or a public pier or jetty. You can tell us that, right?
Oh yeah,
There have been tagged redfish released in all those areas, correct?
correct. Most of these tagged redfish are released by shore, and marinas and causeways, and I mean, these are perfect places for these tagged redfish to habitate and then just linger there all summer long.
Yeah.
A lot of them are caught within. I mean, we've had some caught within 50 feet from a release locations.
And then the last one that you released, that we saw, was 11 miles.
Yeah, that went 11 miles.
Mm-hmm. So you can get out there, catch a tag redfish. Last thing you want to tell our listeners, because we want to get these things. We want a bite me listener to catch one of these on a personal scale. But what's your walk away message here for everybody and the S.T.A.R tournament?
And we would love for that to happen. Thanks for having me on. We love the Bite Me podcast, and we want you to have fun this summer, and register for the S.T.A.R tournament at startournament.org. You have until September 2nd. Over $1.9 million in prizes and scholarships every year.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's Ryan Towns. I'm John Lopez. Let's get back to the podcast.
Thank you, John.